All right, so 11 months ago, I leased this Rivian dual motor R1T Performance for $1,003 a month. And at the time, that actually seemed like a pretty good deal, but 2 weeks later, something else happened. They opened up a leasing program for the Rivian R1S, and for me and my family, that would be a much better fit. Also, if you follow me on Twitter, you will know that this investment in the YouTube channel has been a significant loss so far. So it's in my best interest to get out of this and into something cheaper. Then something even crazier happened. Rivian started slashing prices on leases, meaning I was overpaying by about $400 per month. Additionally, another thing that did not exist at the time I got my lease was Rivian's referral program, which gives you $750 off of your purchase of a new one or your lease. And in addition to that, you get 6 months of free charging, and that's currently what I'm taking advantage of right now. So if you use my code here, that will give you 6 months of free charging and $750 toward the Rivian shop, so you can get something like a free charger for your garage or get $750 toward a car itself. But if you're getting a Rivian, there's no reason you shouldn't be using this. Now, my audience wanted me to get the Model X, but my wife and I just spent $114,000 paying off student loans, and for my business, having a lease would be more tax advantageous. So today I'm going to try to get out of my 2-year, 24,000-mile lease with Rivian. And step one is going to Rivian to see what I can do. Rivian just opened a new store in Scottsdale, so I went there to see what they said. I told them my situation, and they said, we will talk to our manager and see what he says. Classic. Mr. Manager came back and said, you need to talk to Chase to see if you can get out of your lease, and we will give you a buyout price on the car. After realizing Chase was a bank and not a person, our journey continued. 1 day later, I got this email from Rivian stating that the value of my $91,050 truck was $59,750. So after 11 months of ownership, we lost 34% in the vehicle's value, which shows that in some cases, especially this one, a lease isn't that bad of a deal because we also only paid taxes on the value of the lease and not the entire vehicle. Now, what really confused me was on my original lease contract, you can see the residual value of my R1T is $62,824. Now that really stinks, and in order to fix that, today's video sponsor is Drift to help keep my Rivian smelling better. Drift creates air care products for your car and your home using only premium Essential Plus fragrance oil blends free of harmful chemicals that traditional fragrance companies use. What's cool about Drift is that you can get it as a subscription. First, you receive a starter kit and the scent, and then you can just get monthly refills as they recommend changing it every 30 days. The best part is their scent of the month, which features a new limited edition scent. The products are not just visually appealing, but also functionally complementary to your car or home interior, ensuring they harmonize with any space. Their car products range from $9 to $15, and you can get it as wood, stone, or metal, choosing the one that fits your car and personal preference. So head on over to drift.co and use code Gjeebs55 off to save 55% off your first month's subscription. You can also use the QR code on your screen. Drift, thank you for sponsoring this video. Little yapper. What a nice dog to own, you know? What a nice little thing to bring with you in public. Now, I'm not sure how the residual value on my vehicle can change, and I'm also not claiming to be an expert on this whole situation. I'm just explaining my situation to help you guys if you get in a similar situation. So the residual value on my vehicle, if I want to buy it at the end of the lease, as you can see right here, is $62,824. So after speaking to Chase, the bank, and not the person, I found that Rivian would need to write a check to Chase for $71,604.50 to pay off the remainder of the vehicle and start the conversation about getting into a new lease. In this new lease, the payment from the balance of my R1T lease would be rolled into the new lease of the R1S. But since lease pricing is so low on the R1S, I think we may still be able to make this work. I texted my contact from the Rivian shop and gave them the $71,604.50 buyout number so they could calculate the new payment. $12,604.50 is the negative equity I would be rolling into the new lease, and we got that number by subtracting Rivian's trade estimate of $59,000 from the buyout and Chase's $71,000 offer. And we got that by subtracting Rivian's trade estimate of $59,000 from the buyout from Chase at $71,000. So Rivian would have to write a check to Chase for $71,604.50 to get this lease closed out and then to start the process of getting into a new vehicle. And now we have two options. Option one, pay the $12,604.50 outstanding of negative equity up front, or roll that into the new lease payment. Now, me not wanting to spend any more money on this vehicle, I went with the roll option. So I sent them a screenshot of the build I was looking at for an R1S, and it looked something like this one. It's a cheap build with a little range, but I didn't really care because we just needed it for around town, and having a third row would be extremely helpful. I basically only optioned the green color, which I think looks really cool, but other than that, I didn't care. I just want to get into an R1S. And as you can see, this lease is under $700 a month. So with negative equity, I am hoping the payment can stay the same of my current $1,003 a month, and we can get this lower value Rivian R1S. Now, I thought I was being slick here and was just going to slide into a new lease. Oh, was I wrong. If I moved into a lease that was 36 months and 10,000 miles a year, which is worse than what I currently have, I'm currently at 24 months and 12,000 miles per year, so it'd be longer and less miles, and I rolled in the negative equity, we would be looking at least $1,270 a month, and that is before the fees. And if I want to do a 24-month lease, just like my current one, it would be another $200 a month, so approximately $1,470 a month, and again, that's before fees. But it gets worse due to this one aspect I forgot about. I thought we lived in Fantasyland and I wouldn't have to pay the original taxes and fees up front again like I initially did, but we will. So it will be another $3,000 to $5,000 down to get into this new lease. I also learned, and this is actually going to be helpful to you, that if you want to buy a Rivian from inventory, the non-refundable deposit is $500 compared to $1,000 for custom orders. At the time I put money down for my Rivian lease, it was $1,000 non-refundable, and there was a bunch of information that they don't show you up front. You have to pay the $1,000 before they give you that information, but we'll get into that in a little bit. So whether you are leasing or buying, I would 100% be using a referral code. Again, mine's on the screen and it's linked below for you to use. And additionally, you get 6 months of free charging. So you can get 6 months of free road trips as long as you're using Rivian's network. So for me, it would be extremely stupid to be switching out of my current lease and getting into another one. It doesn't make any financial sense, but there's one more problem, and that is the non-refundable deposit that you have to put on these vehicles. And this video right here breaks down everything that they don't show you up front that is behind that $1,000 or $500 non-refundable deposit. It will give you a much more clear idea of exactly what your payment is going to be.